Oh, yeah, this is football prime time coming to you live from Chickies and Pete's in South Philly. I'm your producer Sam, here with Billy Dean and AJ Dean back in the home studio in New Jersey. We're talking about the 2021 NFL Draft. We're going to preview the draft, see where the teams may pick the future. AJ, we're having fun in our own confines of the hospitality of Chickies and Pete's. Do you have any crab fries where you're at?
Yeah, true.
I don't, but I have, I guess, a Coke. I mean, that's all I got to celebrate. About it. I wasn't invited to the show, apparently. It's rude.
We got a bunch.
Whatever.
We have the Hockey on Tap crew over here tossing lovely crab fries to me and Woo. So, but yeah, I mean, we're here. It's awesome. Good ambiance. Good cast of characters around here, and we're having fun. But
hey, this place can pack.
Yeah,
it's packed because it's big. It's all socially distanced within the rules. It's pretty great over here.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty lively, all things considering.
Yeah. So Philly is hosting a bunch of New York fans. So obviously, kudos to them. But NFL Draft this Thursday. 8 p.m. is round one. It's going to be a fun time for any football fan, especially for the Jets, the Giants. Top picks, number 2 for the Jets, 11 for the Giants. There's tons of options for this crew, for these teams. But just a couple little news we had. Jadeveon Clowney signs with the Browns, and then we hadn't talked about this because it happened, previous to us being on. But the Jets trading Sam Darnold to the Panthers for the 2022 second-round pick, as well as a 4th, and then a 2021 6th. So this year, this draft, will have the 6th-round pick from the Panthers. I'm okay with it. There was actually a lot of people reporting that we wouldn't get that much, that we wouldn't get a second. It would be more like a third or, a day 2 or day 3 pick. There were reports that the 49ers offered the 12th overall pick for Darnold. And if that's true, the Jets obviously once again blew it. But, the Jets were unsure about Wilson's shoulder at the time. So, it sounds like that's the guy they're gearing towards the second pick. But, AJ, why don't you go through some needs? Robert Saleh, the new Jets head coach, loves to beef up his D-line. He already has Quinn Williams. He has Sheldon Rankins, who they signed in the free agency. He does have Folo Fatukasi, John Franklin Myers up on the inside. And then in the outside, they have new additions, Vinnie Curry from the Eagles. So Philly knows Vinnie Curry very well. As well as Carl Lawson, their big free agent addition from the Bengals. But, AJ, what are they looking for?
I mean, what do the Jets not need, right?
Well,
obviously your big one. Big one is quarterback. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that the Jets are going to go with their number 2 pick, probably getting Zach Wilson. And then from there, I mean, it's an offensive guard. Jets wanted Joe Thuney in free agency. Obviously, they weren't going to get him. With him going to the Chiefs, they would have offered him a insane contract. So it's looking towards the draft, see what they can get there. You already have Mekhi Becton, on the other side. So, they're looking to beef up that line. You also have running back needs. Somebody who I think that they can get 2 running backs. Najee Harris and Travis Etienne, 2 good guys that I think they can get. In the draft. They don't have the greatest of running backs, I'll say. Tevin Coleman, pretty much a backup for most of his career. Ty Johnson, LaMichael Pirine, who Pirine I didn't think got a fair shake, this past season and stuff like that. But, we'll see what they go with running back. Wide receiver, you have Corey Davis. You have Denzel Mims. You kind of need a true number 1. I don't think the Jets have that, so we'll see what happens there. Let's see who else we got on the defensive line. Cornerbacks, their free agency, didn't go as I would say well. I thought guys like Shaq Griffin, Adoree Jackson would be there for them, and then also you have pass rushers. Got some great solid guys on there with Quinn Williams, Carl Lawson, Sheldon Rankins. Josh Franklin Myers, a lot of versatile guys they have there. But I think they still need to have one more guy that's is going to dominate for them. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree, right? I mean, cornerback, still a couple names out there. Maybe, even Richard Sherman. They're going to have to pay him a boatload. But, you had that guys
maybe
like
not.
Jackson, Griffin. I think you do. I think you want to stay out the West Coast.
I think the way that he praises Robert Saleh, I think he would come on a discount to play for him.
I hope so. I mean, I'd like him to groom these young guys. Bryce Hall, Bless Austin. Although if they do draft a cornerback, I do think Bless Austin's days are not kind of numbered. But they'll likely draft a corner in that first 2 rounds. Most likely a guard as well, and then a pass rusher. I wouldn't mind taking 2 guards. Give me, we'll go through it in a second, especially with our preview. But quickly to the Giants before we do our mock draft. The Giants obviously a very good offseason. They're looking to, and Sam, you can, talk about it a little as well. But
first off, why did we start off this podcast talking about the Jets?
Because
there's nothing to talk about the Jets. They're going to lose, just end the season.
Fair.
We should have started off with the Giants, piss off a couple Eagles fans here, get this podcast on the road.
That's true. We should have started off really pissing off people.
I felt like I was at a morgue or something like that.
I mean, you could have done it. I mean, you just say I'm a Giants fan. Just scream it in the place.
I'm just kidding around. I know it's Philadelphia, and I'm a Giants fan, but we are Penn State. And you know what? I will forgive Dave Gettleman if you draft Micah Parsons. Forget about the clowning around when he was younger and character issues. He does not have any character issues. Okay, in a middle linebacker, you draft not by necessity. You draft the best player in the draft, and I think at the 11th spot, that's who the Giants should pick and take that risk. Since Carl Banks with the first round.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go through the consensus top. We did a whole big ranking system, 100 players. But, you have guys like Trevor Lawrence, Penei Sewell, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase. You do have the quarterbacks, those 3-peat, Fields, Wilson, and Trey Lance. But I have right in there the first defensive player. I have Micah Parsons. I mean, at the 10 spot, there's a lot of couple good offensive tackles, options with Rashawn Slater and obviously the big guy in Penei Sewell. And then those wide receivers. I could see the first 10 picks being all offense, and then that 11 pick, the Giants going off, off that offensive trend, going to Micah Parsons. Giants also just in general, right? Head coach Joe Judge, Gettleman, their 6-10 record last year. Giants I still think they need that big edge rusher. I know, Sam wants the linebacker, and I don't doubt that they should go for that spot.
I understand because philosophically that's the safe play. But just like Saquon Barkley, he was a hand touched by God or whatever that is.
The Penn State.
Whatever he said.
Of course.
So obviously, Giants go out this year, spend big money on Galladay. They get Adoree Jackson. They re-signed Leonard Williams, who had 11.5 sacks last year. Sorry, Dory. Leonard Williams, who had the 11.5 sacks. You also had Lorenzo Carter. But I do think the edge rusher is a big need. Offensive line, you got guys like Shane Lemieux, Will Hernandez. They need maybe another guard spot. I do think their tackles are short up for a little while. I really do like what they have at tackle. Running back, they have Saquon. Devontae Booker is a backup. Maybe they get some depth. Those last 5 picks for the Giants, and we'll talk about the Jets too, but you had Andrew Thomas last year, Daniel Jones the year before that, Saquon, Evan Ingram, and Eli Apple. Obviously, Eli Apple not working out so well, but you do have that offense that they started to build since 2017. I kind of agree with Sam on the linebacker.
We hardly ever agree.
I know.
But we agree at Chickies and Pete's. You see what happens?
That's true. It brings you together.
It brings us all together.
Hey, you're in the city of brotherly love, right?
Yeah, exactly. One other spot that I did think that could be good for the Giants, offensive guard at the 11th pick. This kid, Elijah Vera Tucker from USC, he is going to be a top road grading guard at the next level. That might not be a bad pick. I do understand the defensive needs, but if you shore up that line and you give Daniel Jones the time he needs as well as that offense, they're going to be lights out. So, I do like what they're building here. It is pretty good. AJ, what do you think? You think you need anything else as an outside fan?
No, I mean, I don't disagree with you with wanting to get Micah Parsons. Actually have him as the Giants' second option for that 11th pick. I have him actually going for an offensive tackle there.
So who'd you give him?
I mean, I actually gave him Rashawn Slater from Northwestern.
He might even be the top tackle in the draft.
But here's my problem with that.
What?
Every first rounder, except for when they had multiple picks, they've drafted offense.
Yeah.
It's time to put something back on the defense.
I
So,
agree.
but
I
it's
don't
not
disagree.
a bad pick, AJ. It's not a criticism.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, who's the best athlete at this point.
Yeah.
So that's why I would go with Micah Parsons.
I mean, you could, though, go after a wide receiver as well and take someone like Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle and totally destroy with that offense. Because, you're looking at a bunch of guys that you've gotten, with, tight end you've upgraded. You also got, the guy from Minnesota. But going out and –
But it's the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, I know. It's built on defense.
But it's an NFC East. It's cold weather. It's nasty.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's not like other divisions where you could dunk and play and play indoors. You gotta have a hard defense. That's just
I agree.
opinion.
And we talked about it last year at the draft, right? You wanted Arizona, them taking not Parsons. Man, who did they take last year that you wanted them so bad? Isaiah Simmons.
Yep.
From Clemson. He wanted him so bad. He was beefing it up the whole time about how they wanted Isaiah Simmons, and they take the tackle. Obviously Andrew Thomas. We'll see what happens this year. He had a bad rookie season. I do think he starts to solidify a little bit.
But at least he's big.
Yeah,
At least he takes up space.
He's a monster.
Yeah, I mean that's
big boy.
something you can't teach is being big.
Yep.
And hopefully gets himself together in the second season.
So okay, AJ, let's do a little big board action. And then we'll give. I'll have you do your top 10, 15, 20 picks for mock draft, but. That big board, I do have Trevor Lawrence, number 1 at the quarterback. He will be the number 1 overall pick to Jacksonville. I don't think that's, anybody's breaking news that way. But, Trevor Lawrence, 6'6", 213. And he's quick with everything he does. I do think he's a generational talent. He will be there for, Jackson for a while. Everyone's worried about their, his love of football. Listen, he's a football player. He'll come out and he'll do exactly what he needs to do to get that franchise back in the mode of things. I'm actually more worried about the coach, but we'll see about that in a little bit. Number 2, I do think Kyle Pitts. He has to be one of the top players in this draft. He's a unicorn, just everything he does. He's big, he's fast, he catches. He's just quick twitch. It's almost a cheat code with what he does as a pass catcher. And he'll be fantastic for whoever drafts him. I do think that he goes number 4 to Atlanta. I don't think that Atlanta is going to take the quarterback at number 4. I think they're going to hold on to Matt Ryan a few years, maybe give him a contract extension, go for a quarterback later on. Maybe they even go for a second rounder, third rounder. But Kyle Pitts there at 2. Then you start to get into that quarterback range of Zach Wilson. You have Justin Fields. You have Trey Lance. But then you have the run-on wide receivers, Jamar Chase. You have Jalen Waddle. You have Devonta Smith. And, finally, Penei Sewell. If you're looking for a tackle, him and Rashawn Slater, I mean, you're going to get Pro Bowl caliber players with these two guys. Penei Sewell, they're already saying Hall of Fame in some instances. I'm not going to go that far. But, it's definitely someone you want to really look at it. And those top 10 picks, you can't go wrong with getting an offensive player in this draft.
No. Yeah, that's it's definitely gonna be interesting, especially with what Atlanta does with the 4th, pick. If they do go quarterback, or if they go tight end and Kyle Pitts, or wherever. It's I think that's gonna kind of shake it up in that sense, because everybody's thinking that those top 4 quarterbacks are gonna go right away, and then it's from there it's kind of best whatever. So it'll be interesting. Who'd you leave off with? I'm sorry, I wasn't.
So I went the offense. I went all those lovely pass catchers, and then finally coming out to that 11 spot where you start to see, the cornerbacks, as well as maybe like we said, Micah Parsons already. But there's a bunch of rangy cornerbacks in this next set of 10. If you want to go through Patrick Surtain, and then some injury risks, obviously. three of these guys with Surtain, Horn, and Asante Samuel Jr. obviously have bloodlines in the NFL already. You know, their fathers or even uncles, have played in the league. A bunch of guys that go out and can do man-to-man zone coverage, put them on an island, see how they can, rock. Definitely something that the Jets at that 23 spot, I'm hoping for a Surtain or a Horn to fall. There's a couple other guys that I wouldn't mind. The Jets also need that pass rusher opposite of Carl Lawson. I think that they can go through and get someone that maybe bookends, and you have the next, John Abraham and Sean Ellis. So we'll see how they can play it out in this draft at that 23. I can even see them trading back maybe if they didn't see one they really liked. And then they have that early second-round pick, which is, really a late first-rounder. And, you got 2 picks in the second and a pick in the third. There's a lot of options for the Jets to grow. I even see, for Sam, if he wants Micah Parsons at that first-round spot, I could see someone like Gregory Rousseau falling to the Giants in the second round, and that's a big-time defensive end that could slip a little bit and make that defense legit.
Well, here are my thoughts. For defensive ends, it doesn't necessarily need to be in the first round.
Yeah.
The first round to me is the highest upside, best athlete. What some of the intangibles, but it's not 100%. But that's just me. Michael Strahan did not come in the first round.
No,
he was in the second round after they gave that for. I think it was the whole Dave Brown situation at some. Was that year?
Yeah.
Right? Something like that. But yeah.
So here's a question now for Sam, because obviously Penn State, everyone talks about Micah Parsons, right? Another guy that's projected to get taken that first round is Jason Owe, the edge rusher, 6'5", 257. I don't know how much you watched him, but is that someone that you could see the Giants coming up to grab, or would you recommend a team jumping up to get someone like him? Mr. Wu?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Sorry. Jason Owe, the edge rusher for Penn State. Everyone talks about Parsons. I know he was the second kind of guy.
He's a freak of nature as well.
6'5",
I mean, the
257.
combine was just unbelievable. When you stack him up with Micah Parsons, he scored higher than Parsons.
Yep.
You know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea, but Micah Parsons, he's a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those game changers. Yes, he has better height and all, wingspan and all that kind of good stuff. But Micah Parsons, he always seems to make the big tackle at the big moments, and he's so fast that he can track down anybody in the backfield.
So I was saying that maybe even the Giants trading up for him is as a good option, or even trying to see if he falls to them in the second round. And a lot of people are projecting him as the next Jason Pierre-Paul, who the Giants have had, and they know very well.
But they're on a win now basis, because why? Gettleman has been there for a while.
Yep.
They need to at least have it post a 9-7 season.
Agreed.
I mean, last year they could have, but they lost a lot of 1-point games.
Yep.
But this is a do or die year for Gettleman. He's not going to settle for a 2 or 3 year project. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead, AJ. Sorry.
No, I definitely think they make that next step. I think if they're going to go for somebody like him, though, they would trade down, and not reach on him per se. I know it's not reaching, but
trading up from the second round pick to get him.
Yeah. I mean, if he's still there, I don't think he's going to go past reach in the second round.
Late 20s.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's talk quickly about the Eagles, and AJ, I'll give you I want you to give us their draft needs, but just quickly some news on them. Right, Eagles trade their quarterback in Carson Wentz. They're going with Jalen Hurts this year. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback as that fallback. I think they'll rather go after the offense. But Jalen Hurts starting for the Eagles. You have Miles Sanders. You have Jalen Reagor. I do think they need that wide receiver or even the tight end, depending on how Kyle Pitts falls. their offensive line is decent. I'm not, Lane Johnson obviously is one of the better right tackles in the league. You have Jason Kelsey. On that base defense, you have Derek Barnett, very underrated. Brandon Graham, same thing. Fletcher Cox might be one of the better, maybe the best defensive tackle in the NFL. Their linebackers, Singleton, maybe they need some help there. Darius Slay at corner. You have Avonte Maddox. You have a couple other guys, safety, McLeod. What do you think they need, and who do you have projected to go to the Eagles?
Yeah, they definitely need some wide receivers. I actually have them taking Devonta Smith. If he's there, it's going to be one of those wide receivers of Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle. I don't think Jamar Chase is going to fall that far, but
no, I don't think so either.
It's going to be, I think, one of those two. Just depends on what team, kind of in those earlier teams decides which way they want to go wide receiver wise. Other than that, the Eagles need tight end help, cornerback help, safety help as their main kind of priorities. They do need some inside linebackers and linebackers in general. Like I said, I have them going with Devonta Smith, as their first pick.
And yeah, I like that. You can't go wrong with either him or, like I said, Waddle. Let's start doing this mock draft real quickly. So Jaguars, you have obviously taken Lawrence. You have the Jets taking Zach Wilson, who, obviously at 2 they need a quarterback, so they're going to go with him. I'm still a big Mac Jones fan, and I can see him going to the Patriots, them trading up to get him, which is going to really piss me off. But Mac Jones actually would be the second guy I'd take out of this list, post Zach Wilson. At 3, the 49ers do trade up, obviously, with Miami, and then Miami made another trade then with the Eagles to jump back up to number 9. Mm-hmm. But San Fran, I have them taking you have them taking Trey Lance. Why Lance over Fields?
Just the system. Lance has kind of been more linked towards Kyle Shanahan's offense. I think he's right now practicing with a coach that's been linked with Shanahan and stuff like that. So his style of play I think fits more with San Francisco. They could go Justin Fields, but just kind of all the rumors and stuff like that. Just it sounds like it's going to be Lance there.
And so I saw Lance was obviously working out the coach that, like you said, tied to Shanahan. I know that Wilson's also doing the same thing, and that's where Mike LaFleur wants to come in and bring him in and have Wilson run his system. The same thing. I think they're very similar. I don't think that obviously Trey Lance has a little more running ability, athletic ability, but they're both very quick. Get outside the pocket, make good reads, good throws. So that's why Wilson and Lance are those 1-2. So you have Atlanta Falcons taking, and this is where it changes a little bit. You have them taking Justin Fields. You have them going after quarterback. I think it's going to be the tight end, Kyle Pitts.
See, I think we could just go either way, honestly. I think if they were smart, the Falcons would go with Pitts because you do have, obviously, Matty Ice there. He's, 35, 36, I think.
I think he's 36. So, he's got a few years left.
He's got a couple more years. Give him some more weapons. The man doesn't need any more weapons.
No, you look at that, between Julio, Calvin Ridley, you have, I forgot the slot receiver, but they have a lot of offensive talent. But, if you put someone like Kyle Pitts in there as that touchdown, it's a ridiculous offense.
Yeah.
Now, number 5, I have no doubt about this. I see Cincinnati taking the tackle. It's Penei Sewell. I don't think anyone would disagree. I think that's one of the locks, along with the Jaguars taking Trevor Lawrence. Miami is where it gets interesting. You have them take Fields going to Atlanta, so you have Miami taking Kyle Pitts. This is where I think that, and it's funny, I would have said Miami a couple weeks ago taking Devonta Smith. I think it's Jamar Chase. I think it's that big wide receiver. I know maybe you match up Tua with his old wide receiver in Devonta, but Kyle Pitts or any of these wide receivers, it's got to be a pass catcher in Miami.
Yeah. So obviously I have him taking Kyle Pitts just because of what Atlanta's doing. But so I've kind of read some stuff that apparently Jamar Chase they've ranked lower than Jalen Waddle and Devonta Smith because of him opting out of the college season. And so they've kind of I agree. But apparently they've ranked some players that have opted out as lower on their charts. So It would be a mistake if Jamar Chase was there and Kyle Pitts wasn't. If they don't take him, but you can't go wrong with any three of those wide receivers, or obviously Kyle Pitts. At 6.
We'll round out the top 10, and then we'll do some interesting, the big guys, the Eagles and Giants. But number 7, you have Detroit taking Jamar Chase. Very good move. Obviously, they need some weapons for not Stafford anymore. It's going to be
Goff. Which is the
Goff,
weirdest thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep saying against Stafford. Them going to the wide receiver. Same thing with Carolina, giving Sam Darnold a piece to work with, Jalen Waddle. 9, you have the Broncos taking the first cornerback off the market, Patrick Surtain. You have option B being Micah Parsons, which Sam would be very upset about. But but at 10, Dallas Cowboys. Now, I've heard a lot of rumors that they want to jump up and they want Kyle Pitts more than anything. I just don't see that happening. I don't see him falling anywhere. And I don't think that to jump up to get to number 4, which is where I think it's going to take for them to get to, because if he goes to 6, I don't think Miami's going to trade that pick. But
no.
Do you see the Cowboys going any other move than J.C. Horn, cornerback who you have? Can you see them taking another player?
So I also went, with Rashawn Slater. If they want to go offensive tackle, there's only 2 players that I thought, at least at that value, kind of who's left on our little big boards that we have. He would be the next move if they want to go offensive tackle. But, I think they need a lot of cornerback, help. Their defense was terrible last year. So I think it's smarter to just shore up their defense first.
All right, number 11, Mr. Wu, the New York Giants on the clock. You want Micah Parsons. AJ gave you Rashawn Slater. I mean, that's 2 bookend tackles. You can move then, Ben into the inside to the guard space. Listen, if Parsons is on the board, I do think they need to take that defensive player, but I don't think Giants fans could be unhappy if Rashawn Slater's that pick.
No, I don't think they would be. Well, the problem is the history of offensive linemen for the New York Football Giants.
You don't like Eric Flowers? Hey, all right. Look at the Jets pick.
They haven't had an offensive lineman in the first round since Jumbo Elliott. Yeah. Let's be honest.
I love Jumbo. As a Jet, too, he was fantastic there.
I mean, I'd rather trade for a Kareem McKenzie or something like that. Somebody of that stature. But, no, I'm sticking with Micah Parsons. I'm not going to –
I like it.
It has to be that.
And then
you can't go wrong either way.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the Eagles fans in the room that are listening to us, number 12, AJ's giving you a gift. Devonta Smith, I think he's a better Robbie Anderson. People are saying, hey, is he Marvin Harrison? I'm not going to go that far. It's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. But listen, Devonta Smith, if you can get speed, you can get a guy that, take that, top off the defense. He's the guy you have. You have Jalen Reagor then on the other side. You're starting to look pretty good at wide receiver. I think the Eagles, taking Devonta Smith, or if a Jalen Waddle fell, I do think wide receivers their pick. I don't think if God forbid those wide receivers all go early, I can't see, them wanting to go for someone like Rashad Bateman. I think that's a fall. So, I could see them taking a guard or a tackle. But, New England Patriots 15, you have Micah Parsons going there. It's a very good play for them. Obviously, he'd look really, really good in the Bill Belichick defense.
Yep.
Other notable picks, AJ, what do you got before we head out?
Chicago Bears taking Mac Jones. I think that'd be a good pick for them. I had the Jets for their 23rd pick, taking Najee Harris. I want the running back personally. You can't go wrong with either Harris or Etienne, but I think Harris has a little bit more upside.
So I like Harris. I would go Caleb Farley, who you have as that fallback plan. I like Caleb Farley, big guy. Plays a little on the island. The speed is maybe not there, but he is quick twitch. Give me Caleb Farley any day. And then let's go with the Packers finally getting a wide receiver for Mr. Aaron Rodgers and Rashad Bateman. And then finally closing it out, Tampa Bay Bucks getting a defensive tackle. Or you also have Gregory Rousseau, which would be fantastic for them. So, it's a good time. We'll post this to our Facebook and to Twitter and everything. Give a little, taste to the fans, and we will be on a show Thursday. I think we'll probably start 7:30 or 8 o'clock, Sam.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
And we'll do
Sounds
probably
good.
10 15 picks, at least get those Giants in, and then we'll be back. So everybody, Chickies, thank you for listening, and we really do appreciate the having us here. And Sam, take it away.
And we'll see you this Thursday at, I don't know, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is Football Primetime.